What if I told you the only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is the size of your vision? Most people play small, not because they lack talent, but because they let their own limits define what's possible. Today, I'm going to challenge you to think bigger, 100 years bigger, because the legacy you leave, the impact you make, and the joy you experience all start with the courage to dream beyond what feels safe. In this video, you're going to discover how to break free from scarcity thinking, how to connect with your deeper why, and how to set a vision so bold it inspires not just you, but everyone around you. I'm going to tell you some real stories, some honest struggles, and the mindset shifts that are going to turn ordinary goals into extraordinary legacies. So if you're ready to stop playing small and start building your own happiest place on earth, keep watching. By the end of this video, you're going to have the tools and the inspiration to rewrite your entire story, expand your impact, and finally give yourself permission to dream without limits. Okay, so I want to talk about something today because I know we're on this presentation skill set thing. We're going to tangent just for a couple of sessions because on Tuesday, it was Rima, Brooks, and Carol. Kelly, you weren't here, so you should go back and do the exercise we talked about on Tuesday.
Okay.
We really talked about your vision, about really getting clear, crystal clear on your vision. Now, I know Kelly and Brooks, you knew this from when we started this way back in like October last year. I talked very, very, very in depth about vision because the reality is your vision is what's going to drive your decisions. So let's talk about Walt Disney for a minute. Kelly, we're going to get in your wheelhouse here. Okay. Let's talk about Walt Disney. So 1966 is when he died. And it was 59 years ago. So how do you think of Walt Disney today? Let's think about the legacy. 59 years later, what is the legacy that Walt Disney has left?
Disneyland.
Well, Kelly needs to answer this.
But it's not just Disneyland, it's a global,
It's movie.
like a global phenomenon. There's not just Disneyland, there's Disney California, there's a fan club, there's Walt Disney World, there's Shanghai, Tokyo, now Abu Dhabi, they're building in Abu Dhabi, and not just, I mean, it's global. You've got their college program, you've got the Disney Institute for Imagineers, you've got all of these branches. So it's not just, I know people think of Walt Disney in theme parks, but it goes so much deeper than that.
Movies.
Oh, yeah.
A streaming channel named after him and everything.
What else?
Stores, products.
Oh, yeah.
Characters live on.
A visionary.
Yeah, he was a visionary, right? Walt Disney was like, back in whenever Disneyland came to fruition, I don't even know the history here.
It opened July 17th, 1955.
Okay, so 1955. So that's 70 years ago. I can do that math, I think 80 years ago without actually having it. Is that 70 years ago? I was right the first time, right?
70th anniversary is this year, yeah.
Okay, so 70 years ago. And that's when it opened. So how many failures and how many years before Disneyland actually opened did he have this vision of what he wanted to create?
Oh, since 1923.
1923. So 102 years ago. 102 years ago, Walt Disney had a vision of not just, I'm sure he had no idea that it was going to morph into movies and a streaming channel. And he probably had no idea all of that was coming. But you know what he did have? He knew that he wanted to create the happiest place on earth. He wanted to create this place where people could go and step away from the reality of life. Because that's what happens when you go into Disneyland. Everybody's freaking happy. Have you ever walked to Disneyland and met a person who is a cast member who is not happy? Maybe a couple of times. And I'm going to bet you that those people aren't there anymore because that is the culture that he created. So he didn't just have this vision. His legacy is not just a product and movies. His legacy is an emotion. His legacy is a feeling. His legacy is his legacy is a culture. He's created this culture of people like Kelly who thrive. But what about the emotional connection to what you're doing? Why do you want to start a foundation?
Because I want to help other kids thrive and succeed in life without the financial burden of paying for school or student loans.
But why is that important to you?
Because it caused me a lot of heartache, and I want other kids to be able to not live in scarcity mindset, like have opportunities, and some of them to even take advantage of an opportunity that wouldn't be there for them otherwise.
So what I want you to think about when you're talking about your vision is I want you to think about Walt Disney and what he did 102 years ago. Because I guarantee he had no idea exactly how all these things were going to come to fruition. He said, I want to create a place that is the happiest place on earth. I want to give people a reason to step away from their real life. And the why behind it was probably very similar to why all of us have a vision of some sort like that, right? He experienced probably a lot of, I don't know, Kelly, you might know the answer. We can look this up too. Let's go chat GPT. Like, but do you know why, Kelly? Do you know why he wanted to create a place that was the happiest place on earth?
Yeah, because there wasn't one. He wanted a place for families to be able to go and experience joy. And it all came from going to this park that he would visit regularly with his family on. And that's where he came up with Disneyland.
Yeah. So he had a feeling, started right here, maybe probably down here in his gut. He was like, I really like how I feel in this moment with my family at this location. And he said, I want everyone to feel this way. I want to create the same thing. So when he looked at his vision for the 100 years from now, he didn't look at, I want to have a streaming channel and I want to have this, because I'm just going to put it plain and simple. You have no idea what this world is going to be in 100 years.
Right.
I don't care how much sci-fi you read. I guarantee you Walt Disney had no idea we were going to have streaming channels. He didn't even know, I don't even think we had TV back when he first thought of this whole thing. TV was probably just like, and if we did, it wasn't even in color, right? So he didn't know that he wanted to create movies and products and Mickey Mouse ears. He had no idea. So when you think about the vision, I really want you to think bigger. Think outside of the what. Get outside of the what. So in Rima's vision, I want to create this foundation. What I want you to think of, Rima, is why are you creating this? How would people feel?
Gosh, I'm having a hard time with that.
And that's normal. That's normal. Here's what's going to happen when you can figure out the why and the how you want people to feel. It's going to help you make decisions that are actually going to make it happen for you. Because when you think so much about the what, right? And we do this a lot, even just our real estate goals. We think about, okay, I want to sell 12 homes. Okay, that's the what. Why?
So I can go to Disneyland.
So I can go and be happy. It's an emotion attached to it, right? It's an emotion attached to it. So yes, that's a funny example, but it's true. There's the emotion behind it. So I can go to Disneyland because I like going to Disneyland because I like to be happy. So when we think about the why behind the vision that we're creating and the vision that we're achieving for, it really is going to help you make those decisions and help you make decisions faster.
So is it like I'm trying to dial into like how?
So I'll give you a very personal example for me. Tyler and I just talked about this yesterday. I was at this mastermind this last week. You all know I was in Arizona. I'm at this mastermind and I'm here. And this is like, and this is going to seem like a silly example, but it's crazy how the universe just gives you these examples and puts them bam right in your face. And you're like, okay, what is a freaking lesson I'm learning here? So we were all going to dinner. There's like 10 of us or 12 of us going to dinner, and we had to order a couple of Ubers to go to dinner. I was sitting there and I was like going back and forth between Uber and Lyft to see which one is going to save me the most money, right? Because it just depends wherever you're at. Sometimes Uber's cheaper, sometimes Lyft is cheaper, right? And and then I was debating if I wanted to do an Uber Black or an Uber XL. And these are all the things that I think about, because I'm like, I do know that it has to be a big car just for my own head, because I can't stand other people's driving. And if I'm in a smaller car, I get very, very motion sick and very road sick. So I knew it had to be an XL, plus I had 6 people coming with me. So I was like, Uber XL or Uber XL Black or Lyft XL, whatever it was. So I was there with my people and I'm like, okay, just a couple more minutes, 9 minutes for the Uber, not that long. We'll still be on time. This other guy comes out and he, in the lobby, ordered an Uber Black XL in the lobby. I'd been sitting there for 5 minutes with my Uber still coming. Guess which Uber showed up faster?
Yes.
As soon as he walked out the door, his Uber came up and all those people piled in. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, no, the reason I'm telling you this is not because I'm telling you to go spend money on an Uber Black if you don't want to. But the point is, his thought process was, it's a car. It's just a car. My thought process was, oh my gosh, I've got to save $5. I got to save $20. His thought process was no limits. My thought process was scarcity. Even though it's kind of a very tangible example of no limits or abundance versus scarcity, that's really easy to figure that, because how many of you can relate to, is it going to be cheaper to take the Uber or the Lyft? Is it $5 cheaper? Am I going to save $20 by not doing the Black? Do I really need the Black? Do I really need to buy first class?
Yes.
The answer to first class is always yes. But we talked about it a while ago. So I said it.
This is where I struggle.
See, right.
How do you go from like, it doesn't matter, to, okay, well, I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to pay rent next month. And so I have to cut back on all of these things that really only amass to about $30 a month.
Because you're focusing your time and energy on the how and $30 a month. How much is your rent?
total monthly bills about 2,100.
Okay. And you're focused on $30.
Right.
What if you focused on how can I make $2,100 today?
Well, I am doing that too.
Well, you can't do both. They do not work simultaneously. You can only choose one. Your decision is to only choose one. You are either choosing to focus on $30 or you're choosing to focus on how you can make $2,100. You don't get to do both. That's not how the universe works. It's not how your mind works. I was in a room of 35 people who have completely no limits. They have no limits. And if I want to get to the level where I perceive them to be, I have to get in touch with my own limits, the own limits that I'm putting on myself. Rima, your example of focusing on cutting $30, that is a limit. You are limiting yourself. So when you think of Walt Disney 102 years ago, he literally gave himself no limits. He was just like, this is what I want to do. And this is why. He had completely unlimited thinking. So I want you to think about that with your real estate business. I want you to think about that with your life. What limits what limits do you have right now? What vision do you have? And then what limits are holding you back from getting there? My vision is that I want to help 1,000 real estate agents. I want to help 1,000 real estate agents in the next 12 months achieve a massive level of success that they've never achieved before. 1,000. That is a big freaking number. But why am I not just doing that right now? Because every week it's like maybe 1 or 2 more agents, but that math is not working for me. That math is not mathing. No matter how much girl math I try to do, 1,000 divided by 2 divided by 365 or whatever, however you do that math, that's literally not working. So I'm putting my own limits on myself saying, God, I can't do it like they can. Like, look at where they're at. I am not there yet. I can't order, literally, you guys, I'm literally saying this to myself. I can't order an Uber Black. That's like $100 for a 2-minute ride. I can't do that. And I'm going to call someone yesterday, and she was at another mastermind. We were having she's one of my coaches. She's a mindset coach. Didn't realize she was this good of a mindset coach. And she like called me out and she was like, I was in this mastermind last week and Les Brown was their guest speaker. Y'all know who Les Brown is, right?
Yeah.
One of the original powerhouses in motivational speaking. He's 80 years old. He flew from wherever he lives in the US to Toronto for 3 days to be with this group for 3 days in person. And Mary, my coach, she's sitting there and she's saying, Linnea, I was in a room with someone who you make more money than I've ever even thought of. And I'm like, my number, I immediately caught myself putting a limit. How much money have you thought of?
Well, that's funny because that you say that because I was in a mindset coaching session and the story of Jim Carrey writing himself a $10 million check and putting that in front of him. So they had us write our own check and I put down $300,000 and I'm like,
you're limiting.
Okay, that's a good year, but it's like, yeah, that would be great. But also $300,000 is way more money than I've ever seen.
See, you can't have both thoughts. You are not allowed to have both thoughts. You can't. Have you ever thought of losing $35 million on one deal? So I'm on this call with Mary and she's like, Linnea, I was in this room and I was talking to this guy at dinner and he was talking about, he's a real estate investor and he's like, yeah, I invested in a property and it's a bum deal. I lost $35 million. How many of you, like you hear, I lost $35 million, get a little bit of anxiety from that?
That doesn't even sound real.
Sometimes when people say that though, it's like it's not realized money.
Right.
It's like, oh, I missed that opportunity. Yeah. Like I missed buying Apple or I missed buying Amazon stock.
How many of you could ever think of losing $35 million on realized or not?
Never. Brooks does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just money.
Brooks is different than most people. And that's why Brooks has the performance that he has. But I want you to think back to that vision that I had you create, that 100-year vision. And is your vision to create the happiest place on earth? 100 years from now, is your vision to create the happiest place on earth? Is it to create a piece, something that's going to help people interconnect better, help the world connect with each other better? Is your vision like Henry Ford's to create a way for people to get around faster? Like that was their vision. It wasn't this convoluted, like I just want a way like 100 years out that I can create this thing for other people. So those of you who wrote your vision, is it to create the happiest place on earth, metaphorically?
Yes.
Or what is your 100-year vision?
So I didn't actually do the exercise in full, but I got into real estate to make my clients' experience better than anything that was available in the county.
Okay. So how does that affect you 100 years from now? What's that legacy that you're leaving 100 years from now?
Generational wealth.
Okay.
Not only for me, but for my clients.
Okay. So you're creating a legacy of helping other people feel safe and secure. It's your happiest place on earth. It's your version of it. Thinking 100 years out is really hard because none of us can even imagine living 100 years because most of us probably won't. My goal is to live to be 100. Just so you know, I want to be 100 years old and thriving. I don't want to be Mary, the one we all saw on Facebook the other day, selling houses at 100. Not going to do that. But I do want to live to be 100. I want to be like a 100-year-old in the blue zones. Kelly, you look like you were going to say something a second ago.
It's not silly to me. Okay. It's not. My goal is to be at Disney World on October 1st, 2071, because that will be the 100th birthday of Disney World. And my 100th birthday will be May 2nd. So if I die the next day, I'm good. But as long as I'm there October 1st, that's my goal. And I've said that I don't know how many times. My kids all think I'm bonkers. But I'm like, somebody's ass is going to be wheeling me through those gates.
I'll do it. I'll go with you.
Like one of you kids is going to do it. But literally that's my goal. And I said, if I'm dead October 2nd, that's fine. But I will be there on my 100th birthday.
Yeah, I love it.
Or not my 100th birthday, Disney World's 100th birthday.
All right, Kelly, I love it. What are you leaving? What's 100 years from now? What does the happiest place on earth look like to you? It could look like Disneyland. Cool. Kelly's going to have a vision board with like Disneyland. Okay. Because here's the deal. 100 years from now, people are going to remember you. They're going to remember not what you said. They're not even going to remember what you did for them, but they're 100% going to remember how you made them feel. 100. That is the only thing that people will remember. So if you inspire them to take action, they're going to remember you as inspirational. If you inspire them to limit themselves and think small, that's how they're going to remember you. So I want you to get very clear about what it is, that legacy that you're leaving 100 years from now, and then why. I don't care. I give zero Fs about the how right now. The how will come, but I want you to think big. And I have to do this myself too, because I still have to get Brent Gove my top 5 life goals. I still haven't given them to him. I sat down to do it and I was like, man, why am I so limiting myself right now? What is going on? So I took a big journal entry this morning, 5-page journal entry. And you know what I wrote inside of it? I'm going to cuss here. I try not to as much as possible. Stop fucking playing small. There we go. Hold on. Can you see it? Stop fucking playing small. Rise up. So I need you to do the same thing for yourself, because right now you're playing small, all of you, but you're playing bigger than you were a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But stop playing small. Think bigger. Give yourself the happiest place on earth vision. You deserve that, and so does everyone else around you. Okay? So work on that. You have the next hour blocked, hopefully, on your calendars to work on your homework. Work on that. Get your vision, your 100-year vision get it out there. We can work on the how. We can work on everything else there. But get the vision out there and think as big as you possibly can. If you think that you're thinking big, think bigger. I know it's hard. If you think you're thinking big, I want you to think bigger. I have to do this for myself right now. Like I'm promising, I'm doing the same thing, which is why I'm like, let's just do this, because I have to do this for myself. 1,000 agents in 12 months seems very big, but is it possible? 100%. Is it possible to do in 30 days? Yeah. You know what's going to happen if I do it in 30 days? You know what needs to change if I do it in 30 days?
Bigger goals.
No, not even bigger goals. Bigger action. It's not even bigger goals. It's bigger action. If I said I want to help 1,000 agents in the next 30 days, I have to take bigger action. If I said I want to help 1,000 agents in the next 10 years, nothing's going to change. So I want you to work on your 100-year vision. What does that look like? What does the happiest place on earth look like? And we can worry about the how later.
Thank you so much for watching and for being a part of this journey. If today's conversation challenged you to think bigger, to break through your limits, or to dream a little bolder, I want to hear from you. What is your 100-year vision? What legacy do you want to leave behind? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because I read every single one of them. And if you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with anyone else who needs a little inspiration today. Remember, the only limits that exist are the ones that we place on ourselves. So stop playing small. Rise up. Your legacy starts now. See you in the next video.